Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 28th, 2023. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's MLB, WNBA, and soccer games of note and look ahead to today's games in each sport. Then I will make a pick for the next golf tournament, which is the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Then I'll do my last NHL mock draft since the draft's tonight. News and notes and best bet. We'll start with baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to the games for today. So some big ones last night. Reds over the O's 3-1. Pirates over the Padres 9-4. Giants over the Jays 3-0. Marlins over the Red Sox 10-1. Mets over the Brewers 7-2. Braves over the Twins 6-2. Best bet was a winner. Did not look good for a while, but it remained 6-2 throughout the game. Cards beat the Astros 4-2. That's a stunner. Rangers over the Tigers 8-3. Phils over the Cubs 5-1. Guardians over the Royals 2-1. Dodgers over the Rockies 5-0. Angels over the White Sox 4-2. A's over the Yankees 2-1. D-backs over the Rays 8-4. And the Nats over the Mariners 7-4 in 11 games. Or 11 innings, my mistake. All right, 12 o'clock today, you have the Twins and the Braves. You have Kenta Maeda and Colby Allard back with the Braves making his debut after being traded from the Rangers. The Braves are big favorites, minus 166. Minnesota's plus 140 over under 10. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Twins plus 1/2 is minus 142. Braves minus 1/2 is plus 116. I like a dog right out of the gate, and it's the Twins plus 140. Even though Kenta Maeda has been terrible this year. Nats M's. Patrick Corbin and Logan Gilbert. Mariners minus 260. Nats plus 215 over under 8. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Nats plus 1/2 is plus 102. Mariners minus 1/2 is minus 122. Terrible loss for Seattle last night. Extra innings. Bad call in the game. That kind of went viral. So I'm going to go back to the well with the anti-Patrick Corbin bets. So I'm going to go with over 5 runs for the Mariners at minus 108. At 7 o'clock, you have the Reds at the O's. Lucas Weaver and Kyle Gibson, or Luke Weaver, I should say. O's minus 166, Reds plus 140 over on their 9. Overs minus 122, and there's even money. Reds plus 1/2 is minus 140. O's minus 1/2 is plus 116. So for this one, I'm going to go with over 5 Oriole runs at minus 113. I think the O's offense bounces back. Padres, Pirates, Blake Snell, and Mitch Keller. Pods minus 162, Pirates plus 136, over under 8.5, minus 110 each way. Padres minus 1/2 is plus 106, Pirates plus 1/2 is minus 128. Both guys have been pretty good this year and of late. It's a hard call. But I'm going to go with the full game under, but I do not feel strong about this one. Giants, Blue Jays. Logan Webb and TBD for Toronto. Actually, no, it's Chris Bassett. Jays are minus 120. Giants are plus 102 over under 8.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Giants minus 1/2 is plus 188. Blue Jays plus 1/2 is minus 230. So, Giants favored on the run line. Jays favored on the money line. I'm going to go with the Giants straight over at plus 102. So, that's another underdog I like to win outright. Marlins, Red Sox. Braxton Garrett and TBD. And we don't have betting stuff set up for this one. But if the total is less than 9, I'll take the over again. But if the total is higher than 10.5, I'll take the under, if that makes any sense. And straight up, probably the Marlins if they're a dog. Brewers, Mets. Wade Miley, Kodai Senga. Mets minus 154, Brewers plus 130 over under 8.5. Overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Brewers plus 1/2 is minus 160. Mets minus 1/2 is plus 132. Steve Cohen's addressing the team today, so that should be very interesting. I am going to go with the full game under. Kodai Senga's been really good at Citi Field. Wade Miley's been good all year, so I like full game under. Astros Cardinals 7:45. Christian Javier and Miles Mikolas. Cards minus 116. Astros minus 102. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 155. Cards plus 1.5 is minus 188. Astros favored on the run line. Cards favored on the money line. This is the third underdog I'm taking. I'm taking the Astros at minus 102. They're just better than the Cards. They'll bounce back. 8 o'clock Tigers Rangers. Joey Wentz and Dane Dunning. Rangers minus 220. Tigers plus 184. Over under 9.5. Minus 110 each way. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 113. Rangers minus 1.5 is minus 106. Tough one. The Ranger offense came to life yesterday after being anemic-ish against the Yankees. I'm going to take their team total over again, 5.5 at minus 111. Phil's Cubs, Aaron Nola and Drew Smyly. Phil's minus 126, Cubs plus 108, over under 8, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Phil's minus 1.5 is plus 128, Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 154. I saw a stat yesterday. Phil's have won 16 of the last 23 or something like that, so 16-7 in the last 23 games is really good for Philadelphia, and they're pretty much over 500 now, so the Phils have turned it around. So give credit to where credit's due. The Cubs, we're turning it on a little bit, but they've run into a hot Philly team. I don't want to take the Cubs because the Phillies have just been hot. I understand that Drew Smyly's been pretty solid for the Cubs, but I think Aaron Nola will continue the hot Phillies trend a little bit. So I'm going to go under 3.5 Cub runs at minus 102. Guardians Royals. Logan Allen, Austin Cox. Guardians minus 124. Royals plus 106. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 8. Unders minus 112. Guardians minus 1.5 is plus 162. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 146. Cox has been okay in 2 starts. I like full game under. Dodgers Rockies. TBD and Kyle Freeland. And nothing up yet for that game. If the total's anything higher than 11.5 again, I'll gladly take the under. Next up, White Sox Angels. 9:30, Lucas Giolito and Jaime Barria. Angels minus 122, White Sox plus 104, over under 9, overs even money, unders minus 132. White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 105, Angels minus 1.5 is plus 172. Full game unders juiced. And Barria has been awesome, low-key for the Angels. I'm going under 4 White Sox runs at even money. Yanks A's. Domingo Germán and J.P. Sears. So, J.P. Sears against his old team, and Domingo Germán trying to bounce back after a couple of rough starts. Yanks are significant favorites, minus 162. A's are plus 136, over under 8. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 112. A's plus 1.5 is minus 134. I like full game over because I think both offenses can put up runs. I know I was wrong about that yesterday, but I'm going to go back to the well there. And last but not least, Rays D-backs. Best series of the week. Zach Eflin, Zach Davies. So the battle of the Zachs. Rays are favored minus 146. D-backs are plus 124 over under 9. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 105. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 126. Eflin actually has been low-key good. I kind of dismissed that when I had Julian on in a way. When we were talking about comps for Yankee prospects. But Eflin has been pretty good for the Rays this year. But I didn't realize he's been that good. That's a tough one. Davies, meanwhile, has been terrible. So I'm going to do over 5 Rays runs, minus 102. I think the Rays offense bounces back today. All right, now move on to the WNBA. We'll go over results from yesterday, and I believe we have games today. Commissioner's Cup game, Liberty over to Sun 89-81. Commissioner's Cup, Lynx over to Stern 104-93. Commissioner's Cup, Wings over to Mercury 77-62. So 2-1 against the spread. Liberty didn't cover, but it was close. 2 games today, 12 o'clock, NBA TV, Sparks Sky, so a matinee game in the WNBA. That's pretty cool. The Sky are favored by 1.5, totals 157.5. I really like the over in this game. That is a low total. I do like the Sky minus the points too, but kind of like the over better, so I'm going to go with the full game over. And then 7 o'clock on NBA TV, you have the Dream and the Mystics Commissioner's Cup game. The Mystics are favored by 5.5, totals 163.5. That's a tough one. But I am going to lay the points of the Mystics, but I do not feel strong about that pick. All right, now I'll move on to soccer. Some notable results from yesterday, and I don't think we have MLS today. We'll do Euros first. Under 21, Netherlands, Georgia 1-1 draw. Portugal over Belgium 2-1. Croatia, Romania 0-0 draw. Spain, Ukraine 2-2 draw. So a lot of draws yesterday. All right, last day of group stage, 12 o'clock. Israel, Czech Republic. I like the draw on that one. England, Germany, that's a good one. I like England. Don't feel good about it, though. Swiss, France, we're going with France out to 245, as well as Italy, Norway. I like Italy for that one. Gold Cup, Canada and Guadeloupe, 2-2 draw, and Guatemala over Cuba, 1-0. All right, 2 games today. 7:30 of Jamaica and Trinidad. So, Jamaica's minus 210. Trinidad is plus 550. The draw is plus 280. I actually think Trinidad has a shot here. I don't have the balls to pick them outright, but I'm going to take the draw plus 280. And at 9:30, Fox Sports 1, St. Kitts and Nevis against U.S. U.S. is minus 6,000. St. Kitts is 60-1, and the draw is 24-1. Tough one. I am going to do well, that's a tough one. I'm going to go under 3.5 goals at plus 205. So maybe USA wins 3-0 or something like that. And I really don't think we have that much soccer. So no MLS, no NWSL. So yeah, Gold Cup. We already did. So yeah. All right, time to move on to golf. We have yet another tournament on our hands. It is the Rocket Mortgage Classic. We will go over tee times in a second. So, tell from Detroit. Notable tee time, 6:45. Doug Gibbs, Scott Stevens, Kevin Tway, James Hahn, 6:56. Aaron Ray, Sam Ryder, Alex Duran, Brian Stored, Paul Haley, Davis Lipsky. 7:07. Victor Orman, Harry Hall, Robbie Shelton, Matthias Schwab, Russell Knox, Bingulon. 7:18. J.J. Spawn, Nate Hardy, Cam Champ, Tyler Duncan, Webb Simpson, Chris Kirk. 7:29. Chad Ramey, Brent Snecker, Tom Kim, Keegan Bradley, Robert Streb, Joel Dahman, 7:40 with Trey Molinax, Nicholas Echeverria, Ricky Fowler, Lucas Griffin, Tony Finau, 7:51, Richie Wierenski, Robert Brem, Davis Riley, Luke List, Lucas Glover, Adam Long, 8:02, Stefan Yeager, Austin Smotherman, Callum Tarrant, Nate Lashley, C.T. Pond, 8-13, Taylor Pendrith, Lucas Donald, Danny Willett, Sean O'Hare, Scott Piercy, Christian Ziethenhoutz, 8-24 with Davis Thompson, Alex Badley, Brandon Wu, Joseph Brumlett, and Dylan Fratelli, 8-35, Tyson Alexander, Charlie Hoffman, Nate Watney, Kelly Kraft, Kyle Stanley, 8-46, Kyle Westmoreland, Sam Bennett, 8-57, Brent Grant, Nicholas Hojard, Trevor Cohn, 12-10, Vincent Willey, Austin Eckroat, Max McGreevy, Carson Young, 12-21, Harrison Endicott, Harry Higgs, Ben Martin, Adam Shank, 12-32, Doc Redman, Hank Lebioda, Dylan Langworth, Austin Cook, Sodi Kodiara, 12-43, Seb Straka, Andrew Landry, Martin Laird, Scott Stallings, Cam Davis, Adam Hadwin, Matt Wallace is 12-54 with Taylor Moore, Max Homa, Chester V, Brendan Todd, Brian Harmon, 105, Grayson Ego, Sanjay M, Adam Svebson, Justin Thomas, Troy Merritt, Hideki Matsuyama, Matthew Neesmith, 116 with Taylor Hogue, Will Gordon, Evan Van Royen, Zach Johnson, 127, Grayson State, Alex Smalley, Jimmy Walker, Ryan Moore, Jonathan Bird, Peter Malnati, 138 is Henrik Norlander, Pat Gazier, Mark Hubbard, Ben Taylor, Kramer Hickok, Ryan Palmer, 149, Justin Lauer, Sungwoo Kim, Ben Griffin, Bryce Garnett, Jason Hadley, B.U. Hostler, 2 o'clock. Tomas Dietrich, Jason Duffner, Ryan Ward, Cam Piercy, Zach Blair, 211. Scott Harrington, Matthias Schmid, and 222, Michael Glidjic, Estelonzo Goya, Kevin Roy. So not a lot of big stars in this tournament. If I had to guess who the favorite is, I'm going to say it's Tony Finau, who won this event last year. Cam Young came in second last year. 2 years ago, Cam Davis won it. Joaquin Neiman was a close second. Trey Merritt was right there too. And then in the COVID year, it was Bryson DeChambeau. That was the year he really put himself on the map. Nate Lashley won it in 19. Doc Redman and Rory Sabatini were top 3. So, my pick for the Rocket Mortgage Classic, I am going to lay a fifth of a unit on it. It's someone that was the runner-up in this event in the past. Or, I'm sorry, he won it in the past. He's 35-1. Cam Davis. A fifth of a unit to win the 2023 Rocket Mortgage Classic. Okay, now we will do my final NHL mock draft of the year. Can't believe we're almost done with mock drafts for the year 2023. So here we are. 3 sports down, 1 to go, with baseball being last. All right, so number 1, the Chicago Blackhawks. Connor Bedard, center, Regina, WHL. No-brainer. We know that. Best prospects is Connor McDavid, and will be a building block for the Blackhawks for years to come. Number 2, the Anaheim Ducks. Adam Fantilli, center, Michigan, NCAA. Feels like a no-brainer that Fantilli's the choice here. He'd fit really nicely with the Ducks' young core. Number 3, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Will Smith, center, USA under 18. Leo Carlson's been the pick here for a long time. But Spit's gaining momentum. For the San Jose Sharks, Leo Carlson, wing, center, Arebo, Sweden. So Carlson and Smith swap spots. Carlson would be the best guy available for San Jose to take here, as they would need. 5, the Montreal Canadiens, Ryan Leonard, the wing, USA Under-18, NCDP. This would be a nice fit for Montreal. Good, fast-rising player. 6, the Arizona Coyotes, Matevey Maikov, wing, St. Petersburg, Russia. Maikov would be the best guy available for Arizona. Would have been the number 1 pick in any other year. 7, the Philadelphia Flyers, Dalibor Dvorsky, center, 8, Sweden. With their first of 2 first-rounders, the Flyers take the talented center Dvorsky as they go with the best available. Plug-and-play guy, good hockey IQ. 8, the Washington Capitals, David Reinbacher, defenseman, EHC Cloton. Really good pick for the Caps. Best defenseman in the draft. Offensive upside, mobility, kind of like current Capital John Carlson. 9, Detroit Red Wings, Gabriel Perreault, wing, USA Under-18, NTDP. So this is the third NTDP guy taken here. Good puck handler, good shot, really good passer. So good all-around guy. 10, the St. Louis Blues, Nate Danielson, center, Brandon, WHL. The Blues, with their first pick of the round, land a solid prospect in Danielson. Really good tools kit and a great all-around player. 11, the Vancouver Canucks, Tom Mullender, defenseman, Rogel Jr., Sweden Jr. Makes sense with Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting bought out. Two-way guy, mobile. 12, the Arizona Coyotes from the Ottawa Senators. Oliver Moore, forward, USA Under-18, NTDP. So that's the 4th guy from that loaded team going. So Arizona takes 2 forwards with their 2 picks. Versatile player. 13, the Buffalo Sabres, Axel Sandin Palika, defenseman, Skellefteå Jr., Sweden. ASP is getting some momentum for talk of being the 2nd or even the 1st defenseman taken. He is 2 arrows pointing up right now. Good puck handler and could guide like a power play of an offense. 14, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Matthew Wood, wing, UConn, NCAA. This is like a match made in heaven. This guy feels like a perfect Penguin power forward type of player. High-end skill, kind of like Chris Kreider of the Rangers. 15, the Nashville Predators, Colby Barlow, wing, in OHL. The Preds are rebuilding now. They have a lot of draft picks and young talent. Really good scorer. Good shot. 16, the Calgary Flames, Samuel Honzek, wing, Vancouver, WHL. Honzek's interesting. I think he's one of the wild cards of this first round. A lot of upside, really physical. 17, the Detroit Red Wings from the New York Islanders via the Vancouver Canucks. Edward Sale, wing, Bruno Chesia. With their second first rounder, the Red Wings take the forward and Sale. Very polarizing player, great hands. 18, the Winnipeg Jets, Mikhail Guliev, defenseman, Omsk Jr., Russia. The Jets are in blow-it-up move. They just traded Pierre-Luc Dubois, which we'll talk about in news and notes. Guliev is someone that excels on offense, good skater, good building block for the future. 19, the Chicago Blackhawks from the Tampa Bay Lightning, Daniil Boot, wing, Loco Yaroslavo, OHL. With their second first rounder, the Blackhawks take the fast-rising forward in Boot. Great shot and is a force on the boards down low. Not a good skater. 20, the Seattle Kraken, Dmitry Simashev, defenseman, Yaroslavo Jr., Russia Jr. The Kraken grab a solid D-man in Simashev as they need young defensemen. He has a really good offensive game. 21, the Minnesota Wild, Brandon Yeager, center, Moose Jaw, WHL. The Wild take Yeager here. Tough cap spot, long-term. Could slip out of the round because of his height and lack of scoring. Sans having a quick shot. 22, the Philadelphia Flyers from the Los Angeles Kings via the Columbus Blue Jackets. Callum Ritchie, forward, Oshawa, OHL. With their second first rounder, the Flyers take another forward in Ritchie. Really good all-around player that can score and pass and is reliable in all 3 zones. 23, the New York Rangers, David Edstrom, center, Froland Jr., Sweden Jr. This would be a good pick for the Rangers who need center depth in their system. Edstrom is a good two-way player that can skate and has good size. 24, the Nashville Predators from the Edmonton Oilers, Oliver Bonk, defenseman, London, OHL. Really solid pick for the Preds. They need young defensemen. Big mobile puck mover. And really someone that could be a minutes logger in the league. 25, the St. Louis Blues from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tanner Maldinik, defenseman, Saskatoon, WHL. With their second of 3 first-rounders, I have the Blues going defense. Maldinik is a high-end skater and competes hard. 26, the San Jose Sharks from the New Jersey Devils. Michael Rabel, goaltender, Omaha, USHL. With their second first-rounder, the Sharks take the first goalie off the board. They do need a long-term answer. I know they just traded for Mackenzie Blackwood of the Devils, but I don't know if he's capable of being a long-term guy. Rabel, meanwhile, showed that in the past. 27, the Colorado Avalanche. Quentin Mutsi, wing, Sudbury, OHL. The Avs, with now their first of 2 first-rounders, grab the forward Mutsi. Really not afraid to throw his body around and get in front of the net, and can beat defenders well. 28, the Toronto Maple Leafs from the Boston Bruins via the Washington Capitals. Otto Stenberg, forward, for Lunda HC, SHL. With their own first rounder, I have the Leafs taking the versatile forward in Stenberg. Strong player, good wrist shot. 29, the St. Louis Blues from the Dallas Stars via the New York Rangers. Charlie Stammel, center, Wisconsin, NCAA. The Blues, with their third first rounder, take the center in Stammel. He did not have a good draft season, but he has a good frame. He's physical and can skate well. 30, the Carolina Hurricanes. Andrew Crystal, wing, Kelowna, WHL. The Canes are an unknown come the draft. Crystal's a fast riser on draft boards come draft day today, and an offensive machine, has great vision and ability. 31, the Colorado Avalanche from the Florida Panthers via the Montreal Canadiens. Ethan Gauthier, wing, Sherbrooke, UMJHL. With their second first rounder, I have the Avs taking a fast riser in Gauthier. He's someone that is established as a good goal scorer, and his power forward status fits him well. And 32, the Vegas Golden Knights. Gavin Brindley, forward, Michigan, NCAA. The new champion Golden Knights got a good prospect here in Brindley. Versatile player, good scoring touch. So there you have it for the final NHL mock draft of 2023. Now move on to news and notes. For today, this is a tough one where to start. I would like to start with some baseball. So, we talked about Steve Cohen making the announcement about a press conference. Billy Epler praises Buck Showalter as he says he's the guy to get us back on track and how he's handling the team's adversity. I don't think it would be fair if Buck Showalter be fired. I like Buck a lot. I do agree that last year bought him some time, but I don't know if Julian feels that how I feel about Buck and how I don't think he should be fired. And it isn't fair. I understand someone has to be the fall guy, but it should be Billy Epler, who I don't think is a good general manager. Max Scherzer could waive his no-trade clause, as he'd be willing to waive the clause if the right situation to win the World Series came up. So that is really, really cool. And if Max were to waive his no-trade, but I don't see it. Who's the team? The Texas Rangers? They have enough pitching. If the Angels get super hot, they could use them. The Reds. So it's gonna be interesting. Shohei Ohtani left with trainers after 101 pitches and 6 in the third innings. And it was the first time this season leaving in the middle of an inning. And he had a cracked fingernail, then returned as the designated hitter and homered again. What can't this guy do? He's I praised him yesterday on the podcast with Julian. I think he's on his way to MVP, barring an injury. And now it's coming down to he's unsure of the home run derby, as he doesn't know if he'll compete in the derby until next starts are announced. If I'm Ohtani, I sit the derby. I understand the hype around it and the attention he'd get, but if I'm Ohtani, I sit the derby. Matt Boyd to have Tommy John surgery, partially turned sprain of the UCL. I feel bad for Matt Boyd. Now he'll be back next year. Alek Manoah got rocked in his first Florida Complex League start. 2 2/3 innings, 11 earned runs. Yikes. It's something that I brought up to Julian in passing yesterday on the podcast when we were talking about the Blue Jays. So the MLS All-Star list came out yesterday, so we're going to look at that real quick. So, forwards and wingers, coaches pick Christian Benteke of DC United. Voted in Dennis Boagna of LAFC. Coaches pick Christian Espinoza of San Jose. Voted in Jesus Ferreira of FC Dallas. Coaches pick Giorgos Giacomas of Atlanta. Commissioners pick Kai Kamara of Chicago Fire. Voted in Jordan Morris of the Seattle Sounders. Midfielders voted in Luciano Acosta of FC Cincinnati. Voted in Thiago Almada of Atlanta United. Commissioners pick Matthew Choinière of CF Montreal. Coaches pick Hector Herrera of Houston Dynamo. Coaches pick Jose Martinez of the Philadelphia Union. Voted in Aiden Morris of the Columbus Crew. Voted in Hane Mukhtar of Nashville FC, so your reigning MVP and Golden Boot winner. Coaches pick Riqui Puig of the Galaxy. Coaches pick Lucas Zelarayan of the Crew. Defenders voted in Alvaro Barro of FC Cincinnati. John Gallagher of Austin FC was voted in. Coaches pick Ryan Hollingshead of LAFC. Voted in Matt Miagza of FC Cincinnati. Coaches pick Tim Parker of St. Louis FC. Coaches pick John Tolkien of the New York Red Bulls. Voted in Walker Zimmerman of Nashville FC. Goalkeepers Roman Berkey of St. Louis FC. Tyler Miller of DC United. That was a coach's pick. And then Roman Berkey was voted in. Djordje Petrovic of the New England Revolution was the coach's pick. If I had to guess the coach, it is either Steve Cherundolo, Jim Curtin, or Pat Noonan. Let's see who it is. Wayne Rooney of DC United. So, interesting. My big takeaway is that the big-time teams didn't get that many guys in. FC Cincinnati deserves a lot of guys in. They've been amazing this year. The fact that the Galaxy only got one in, LAFC got two, the Union only got one in, and NYCFC doesn't have any All-Stars. St. Louis City's getting rewarded. Seattle only has one, which is surprising. So, very interesting All-Star roster. And the All-Star game will be in D.C. on July 19th. And it'll probably be on Fox. That would be my assumption here. So the NHL schedule came out yesterday. Opening night on TNT will be Blackhawks, Bruins, and Avs Kings. favoritism rings at its finest. It should be Golden Knights against the Avs in the first, or the nightcap of the doubleheader. Not Avs Kings. I know it's LA favoritism. I understand the Avs. They're good. The Blackhawks Bruins, what year is this? 2013? I understand Bedard. It's Bedard's debut, and everybody wants to watch it. And the Bruins, I understand won the President's Trophy last year. So I understand Boston being in it. It should be Rangers Boston or Devils Boston or not Chicago. It should be the Rangers. It should be New Jersey. I would have been okay with Pittsburgh. So yeah, there's a couple of other options that they could do. A hockey trade, we talked about it a little bit during the NHL mock. The Canadiens acquire Alex Newhook from the Colorado Avalanche for picks number 31 and 37 in the draft, and Gianni Fairbrother. So that's a nice trade for Montreal to see if the change of scenery can work out for Newhook. Colorado gets 2 really good picks out of it, a good second and a late first. So I think both teams did well in this deal. Kent Hughes, who's the Habs GM, kept it short after the team missed out on Pierre-Luc Dubois, who was dealt from the Jets to the Kings. And it got an 8-year extension out of it, worth $8.5 million a year. So it's 8 years, $68 million for Pierre-Luc Dubois in the sign and trade to LA. So it's the second sign and trade we've seen of the offseason, with the other one being Damon Severson to Columbus. So the Jets get Alex Iafallo, Rasmus Kupari, Gabriel Velarde, and a 2024 second-round pick. That is a nice haul for Winnipeg. I like getting Velarde in the deal and a follow. So a couple of young players and second-round pick, which will probably be a mid-second-round pick, if not a later one, depending on how good the Kings are. So, blockbuster trade. Pierre-Luc Dubois gets traded for the second time in his career, this time to the LA Kings, and gets a big contract extension in the wake of it. And then the Devils acquire Tyler Toffoli from the Calgary Flames for Yegor Sharangovich and a 2023 third rounder. I like this deal for New Jersey. Toffoli's a veteran, win-now player. Good on New Jersey. Yegor Sharangovich, nice player, but he's a bottom 6 player. Third rounder going to Calgary too, which will probably, or which is for this year, so it's probably like a mid to late third rounder. So I like this trade for New Jersey a lot. So how about this? HBCU to have a hockey program, as Tennessee State will become the first HBCU with college hockey in partnership with the league, the NHLPA, and the Nashville Predators. So that is pretty interesting. We'll see how that plays out. So Kane agrees to a banger deal as he agrees to personal terms with the German champs. Transfer fee with the Spurs yet to be agreed on. So that's a big deal for soccer. Some basketball. The Lakers want to keep the core together. Rob Pelinka looks to improve around the edges for a team taking the next step to get into the NBA Finals. Taylor Horton-Tucker exercises his $11 million option to remain with the Jazz. Klay Thompson said the CP3 trade was a little weird, as he details how the history of Chris Paul and how being his teammate will be smooth. Victor Oladipo to stay with the Heat as he exercises his $9.5 million option to return to Miami. That's not surprising. Dante DiVincenzo hits free agency as he declines his $4.7 million option with the Warriors, will become an unrestricted free agent. We'll see where he goes. I think the Knicks are in play to sign him. That was Bill Simmons' prediction. And I could see that they could use some bench scoring. 3 teams eyeing Draymond Green: Blazers, Kings, and Pistons. Among teams expect to make a play for Draymond in free agency. I predicted him to Detroit in my offseason predictions. I don't feel strong about that. At gunpoint now, I think he goes back to Golden State. Tobias Harris had a video message to Sixers fans as he had a message to the casual Sixers fans who want him traded. Yikes. Donovan Mitchell was on a Bleacher Report interview as they discussed the Cavs' early playoff exit, Amani Bates, and then what the goals are for the team, as he said, to win a championship. So, some WNBA, DraftKings dropped odds. The Aces are in the Liberty or the rest of the field. So, the Vegas and the Liberty are minus 450. The rest of the field is plus 370 to win the title. I'll take the plus 370 right now. You never know, injuries and whatnot, and we have some good teams other than those two. Connecticut's really good. I know they just lost somebody for the season, though. The Mystics and Elena Deladon can't be ruled out either, so I would like to take the field at plus 370 on that one. So some football stuff. Josh Jacobs may hold out into the season. I'm in contract dispute, so that's crazy news. DirecTV to carry the Red Zone as the NFL agreed to broadcast NFL Red Zone on DirecTV for the first time. Amid Sunday tickets moved to YouTube TV. So that is crazy. So athletes can't back out of NLI as players won't be penalized if they request release from a deal due to head coach change or departure before end of first year. So athletes can back out of deals. So that is a game changer in my opinion. And the last football news today, sad. Former NFL quarterback and Arkansas quarterback Ryan Mallett passes away at the age of 35 as he had passed in a drowning accident in Florida. Very sad news. Mallett was a decent backup quarterback, a good quarterback at Arkansas. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family, former teammates and friends. Really sad news today. 35, that's just a shame. Very sad. And the biggest news of yesterday wasn't in sports. It's entertainment news. We talked about a couple weeks ago Pat Sajak announcing his retirement from Wheel of Fortune. They have named his replacement already. It is none other than the best in the business, Mr. Primetime himself, Mr. Ryan Seacrest. They couldn't have asked for somebody better to replace Pat, and I think Pat's a legend. And I grew up watching him, and obviously Ryan, I always touted him as the busiest man in America, and he continues to have that title with his newest gig starting next year, hosting Wheel of Fortune. So Pat's going to do one last season in 23. Then Ryan will take over in September of 24. He did say he'll still do American Idol, which is really good news, obviously. We knew he was going to stay on Idol. He's still going to do the show for iHeartRadio in the mornings as well. So the man just doesn't stop. And then he does New Year's Rockin' Eve every year. He sometimes fills in on his old show, Live with Kelly, now Live with Kelly and Mark. It was obviously Live with Kelly and Ryan, but he sometimes fills in for that. So, busy guy. And the question for Wheel is, what's next for Vanna? She has 1 year left on her contract, which is next season. Does she go out with Pat, or does she stick around with Ryan? Maybe, I think, it makes it sound like in Ryan's announcement post on social media that he expects Vanna to be back and that Vanna will be back. But Vanna is low-key getting up there in age as well. She is 66. So, I think that she'll stick around a little bit. But if she doesn't, I'm sorry, there's no better replacement for her than Kelly Ripa. Just so they can reunite Ryan and Kelly. But I do think that Vanna's going to stick around, and I think her and Ryan will work well together. And she still looks fabulous for her age, and as does Pat. As Pat is 76 years old, and he looks amazing for his age. All right, that's it for news notes. Now we move on to the best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. So there's a couple that jumped out to me today in terms of nominees for best bet. And there was actually one that jumped out pretty good. 2 terrible offenses, high total, a pitcher that started off decent for a last place Royals team. I'm going under 9.5 between the Guardians and the Royals. Maybe one of the two late teams wins 5-0. Maybe it's a 5-4 game. Maybe it's 6-3. But 9.5 is way too high for that game. So I'm laying a half unit on under 9.5 between the Guardians and the Royals for my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to anything important going on tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.